So I want to talk about this subject because I'm seeing two things lately. The first is that everyone is feeling a little down and lonely at least sometimes during the pandemic. And the other is, unfortunately, creepy networking tactics. It makes me realize it's time we think about new ways to build better relationships with others because we will have to live in this new normal for some time without being able to see each other face to face. I'm still trying to process it, but many experts are saying that maybe our lives before the pandemic are gone and the new normal is this on again, off again lockdowns and isolation. We already felt lonely before the pandemic. In the loneliness survey done in 2019, more than 3 out of 5 Americans said that they were lonely. And the loneliness must have exacerbated in this pandemic and lockdown. Even though social distancing is the right thing to do, our brains are not wired for isolation. Human species have been able to survive and become the dominating species on the planet not because we knew how to fight the best, but because we knew how to collaborate and communicate as a group. Dunbar's research suggested that our brain size allows us to form relationships and connections with about 150 people, which turned out to be close to the average size of a group in a hunter-gatherer society. So yeah, what's normal for humans is actually living in big groups, all 150 people all the time. And now, just me and my cats. What do you mean you didn't know it was your responsibility to save humanity? Oscar. Of course, the flip side is once you max out all the 150 spots in your head, it's harder to build meaningful relationships with others. And let's be honest, once we have built an in-group for ourselves, how many of us still reach out and network and meet new people? It's easier not to have to meet new people, but I would put my money on connecting with others as a way to beat loneliness. On the other hand, I keep getting connection requests on LinkedIn, and many times as soon as I accept them, they started selling me something through LinkedIn messages. The pandemic probably poses a huge challenge to the sales process, and I'm not a sales expert, but personally, if you haven't built up any trust between us, I'm not going to give you my money. I believe it would have been much more effective if the salespeople have offered value to me first before trying to sell to me. So we have to think about how we can connect with others better in this new normal. And the answer is probably quite obvious. We should either build or join better online communities. No, not Facebook. Number 1, build and join communities. When I first arrived in Munich, I spoke 0 words of German and I had 0 friends. And so instead of begging others to please be friends with me, bitte, I started my own meetup groups. And this has worked very well with me for me to be friends with others. However, we cannot do face-to-face meetups at the moment. So I've been experimenting with moving the meetups online. And last year, I started the Rethinking community with a few friends who all think alike. We're all rethinking what new communities should be like. We all share a growth mindset, and we all love learning, and we all love sharing the learning with others. The topics we've covered so far include how to work better remotely, how to boost team performance and productivity, integrated marketing and marketing metrics you shouldn't ignore, AI uses in marketing, how to scale revenue with operations done right, how to transform customers into your ambassadors using storytelling, how to be innovative, how to communicate with designers for your brand, how to launch a podcast, and so much more. Which brings me to the second point, bring value to others. For example, in the Rethink community, all the content is free. It's produced by people who also believe in helping the community and giving back to the community. Once you have signed up, you have access to all the great content. Now is a good time for me to plug in the next event. On Wednesday, January 27th at 7 p.m. Central European Time, which is 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 a.m. Eastern, we will have a panel discussion around how to foster creativity at work because, let's face it, it's particularly difficult to feel creative at work, especially when you cannot see your colleagues. The three panelists all come from very different backgrounds and they're not your traditional creatives like designers, for example. But Shaheen is the CEO of an international creative agency, Jessica is a VP of engineering at Heartbeat Health, and Yelena is a young millennial business development and social media executive. It will be so interesting to see what kind of creative sparks they will ignite together. Come join us because we're the kind of people you want to connect with. I'll leave the link to the event down below. Number 3, sharing is caring. Basically, the philosophy of Rethink community is sharing is caring, and personally, I think the best way to build meaningful relationships and trust with others is by being open, honest, and generous in sharing with others. And this is exactly why we started this community, a place to learn and to share. If you have a passion and expertise on certain topics you want to share, feel free to reach out to me and we will make a community event out of it. So what do you think? What other networking tips can you share with me? Leave a comment below and let me know.